What's up guys, Nicholas here. So I'm very excited to share this video with you all. What you're about to see are some of the best dives from a Great Barrier Reef liveaboard spearfishing charter in Australia. 6 days, 4 full days of spearfishing. We were on an 84-foot fishing boat that had 5 of those tenders or dories that I was driving. Here I am loading my 120 centimeter Bochet roller. And during some of those first drops we did the first day, I wasn't really sure how the sharks would act, how aggressive they would be, and these 2 big bull sharks rolled up. So as a precaution, I just got out of there and enjoyed the view from further away. Looking back, it actually would have been awesome to stay up close, but it's better to be cautious. We also saw some big rays. The spearfishing that we had available to us was largely reef diving, and this was a particularly shallow reef in mint condition though. I'm targeting a stripy snapper, and they're great eating. One thing I did always keep in mind when pulling the trigger here was what am I going to hit behind the fish, and I try to minimize hitting the reef. Here I am pulling in the snapper. So this trip had all different types of depths that we were diving. We had moved on from diving the really shallow reef, and we were doing closer to 10 to 15 meter drops to look for more pelagic fish or just different varieties. On this specific drop, our guide in our dory, Trevor Ketchian, had told me that there was a nice coral trout down here, so I was looking around for it. Finally, at this part of the dive, I'm starting to see what I think is a coral trout. So I'm taking aim, waiting for a broadside turn. And my shot placement here was pretty spot on, as the fish goes into a death spiral. However, definitely too high of a shot. My spear, it seems to have hit the brain of the fish and then tore out. And as I was swimming out, I noticed too late that the fish did not stay on the spear, but Trevor, with his eagle eyes, sees this and he retrieves it shortly after I surface. On this dive, we had seen some Spangled Emperor on a sandy bottom, and these were a target species for me ever since I saw someone catch one by rod and reel on the boat. Beautiful fish. So I did a slow relaxed drop, and after settling in on the bottom, you can see them start to come in up from the right. I had my eye on the closest one, and I was like, this guy is mine. But I'd been too eager, and I misjudged the range of my gun. And the shaft basically bounced off the fish, as you can see. It's a painful lesson to me. Later that day in another spot, Trevor lets me know that there were some more Spangled Emperors here. This is on our last day on the charter, and at this point, I'm really feeling dialed in a bit of a zen mode. I make my drop, I see a target fish. I'm confident, and as you can see, while I'm dropping, I feel like I'm close enough when I take the shot. And as I start to fight the fish, I realize that I have muzzle wrap, and this is a decent sized fish, and it's fighting against me, and it's going for the rocks, which I don't like, so I'm fighting it as hard as I can. And again, Trevor, literally the best dive buddy you could ask for, sees everything, comes down, takes my gun to fight up the fish for me so I can return to the surface and catch a breath. Here's the fish once we return to the boat. So this is one of the guys that I met on the charter, Hamish, and this is his first spearfishing trip. He's a freediver recently converted to a spearo. He came on this trip without having had spear to fish before. Like, what a legend to have your first spearfishing trip as a Great Barrier Reef liveaboard charter. And this is his very first fish, it's parrotfish. And there's a little bit of line management here as we all go through. But the stoke is real and he will never forget this. We get the fish off and we're good.
Congrats on your first fish.
We are now looking at Hamish's GoPro. This is the Hamish cam. He's rocking a 110 roller gun and he's taking a drop after he's seen a school of golden trevally. He drops down, keeps his cool, sees the fish he wants, and takes a perfect stone shot on this trevally, which is the largest fish by far he's ever speared. And this is a beautiful fish and great eating. And mind you, this is just a day or two after he speared his first fish ever. Stoked for him.
Huge. Good shot, eh? Yeah! Thank you so much. Thanks so much for the help.
So this dive was one of the last few dives of the entire trip, and it was the cherry on top for me. Yet again, Trevor had scoped out the area and seen some green jobfish, and having gotten one himself earlier, he was happy to point it out and have us go for it. He's an absolute legend and a pleasure to dive with and made the trip into what it was, really. So I was feeling great. I had taken 3 minutes or so to breathe up. I was sitting here maybe 14 meters deep. I'd actually seen a jobfish earlier that day, but I'd never taken a shot on one and definitely not speared one. At this point, I was amazed at how close these other fish were coming and just enjoying the view. Again, look at them. At this point, I was realizing that I should probably start to do something to attract any green jobfish in the area, if there were any. So I start to grunt, and like clockwork, 2 jobfish come cruising in. I know my chance is coming. Stretch out, I take the shot, and I hit it. I can see that it's a bit low of a shot, but it looks like it's holding. Oh, I was so stoked. I was over the moon. And Trevor even gives me a little thumbs up. I start pulling the fish to me. I know it's almost in my hands. As soon as I get it, I pinch it between my legs and then finish it with my knife, securing it. And here's a jobfish that actually Trevor had gotten earlier. I don't have footage of mine in the boat, but just so stoked. Then here I am, cruise into the next spot, picking up one of the guys with one of their fish. And yeah, it's a great way to end the trip. I couldn't have asked for anything better on a reef-based Southern Great Barrier Reef trip.